Hello, what's up everybody? This is Muhammad Untitled Muhammad Hafizul. IDs are somewhere in the text. So, editor, I forgot what your name is. Have fun. Today we're going to be talking about three things. One, how to draw the shapes. There's 4 you can do. 2, how to animate them. And 3, how to add sounds to Pygame. Now, this will be joined by 3 other colleagues of mine. This is a team project. So hopefully you can bear with us and the varying levels of quality can be a bit noticeable. So I'm going to assume that you've already installed a Python and a Pygame into your system, and the fact that you already know the basics of programming in Python. The import Pygame, the initialization, screen adjustments and captions, the Pygame quit game loop. I'm assuming you got that all down. That's great. So we can begin with this. So this is where you might have left off. Now before we do any drawings, we're going to call in some variables first. Now follow along. Don't worry, I'll explain on the way. Okay, now these are color modules. This is important as we're going to be recalling these later down the line. And it's just much more convenient than having to write the same 255, 25500. So these 3 sequence of numbers are the RGB intensity. Red, green, and blue. The 0 is the dark. 255 is at its maximum contrast. I don't know why it calls that, it's just how the program reads it. Now how are we going to use this? So, first thing we're going to use is the white module. What we need is a white background just to get it off there. Clean blank slate. So then that's easy. Just type in screen dot fill white. Make sure it's exactly as the variable name. You can name the variable Chapuxfront if you could, but if you want to make it easy on yourself, just type in the color and you'll be fine. Now, if we try and run this, now the Pygame window is all white, which means it's working properly. Finally, we can get to drawing graphics on Pygame. Now, there's a certain way to do it, and don't worry, we can get through this out of the way. Don't worry, there's 4 kinds of shapes. There's the rectangle, the circle, the line, and the polygon. Now, let's start with the rectangle. Follow me. This will get a bit complicated in a hurry. Pygame.draw.rect. Basically, what we're asking of the script is for Pygame to draw a rectangle. Now, we'll open up with a bracket. Let's start with the first one. Screen, which display are going to be drawing on. Up next is the color. You call in from the color module from above. Up next is, this bracket will be determining the position and the size of our rectangle. The first 2 numbers that will be coming up, like for example 10 and 10, since Pygame draws from top left to bottom right. In this case, by 10 and 10, this means 10 to the right and 10 down. This is our starting point of the top left corner of a rectangle. Now, after this, we can define the size. In this case, I'll put 50 and I'll put 25. 50 pixels width and 25 pixels high. Now, this is optional, but if you don't want it to be filled, you can have it as an outline by having a comma and typing in any amount, how thick the outline is going to be. So if we run this, and hey, look at that, we got ourselves a little box. Okay, now that's how you make a rectangle. Just change the color, the position, and the size. Maybe include a thickness if you want, but other than that, you have to keep it the same. Now it's time to draw the circle. Again, similar concept, Pygame.draw.circle. Again, screen is, and it's green. What happens here is the same. Position, again, 75 pixels left. 10 pixels to the right. But I'm putting on 75 pixels down. Close up this bracket. Up next is the radius of this circle. In this case, we clarify that it's 20 pixels radius. That means it's like what? No, that's circumference. Pixels radius. And it'll be 20 pixels radius, and then it draws a circle from there. I'm pretty sure you learned this in basic math. And up next is whether you want it thick or not. In this case, I won't. So I'll leave it blank. Again, we can check if we run this program, if we run the script, and there we go. It's in the middle of nowhere. We can easily fix that by changing where it is. This is where it is from the x value, also known as the left and right values. And there we go. We got ourselves, now we have a green circle. It's completely filled in because we didn't clarify the thickness of the outline, since we didn't clarify it at all. They'll assume that they just want it filled. Up next is a line. Pygame.draw.line. Again, screen blue in this case. Now this is going to be a bit tricky. Now, like a line, it needs 2 points. Take 1 point, call one point, and then call another point, and draw a line from there. That's how Pygame discerns it. So Pygame understands it. So in this case, we'll go for 40 by 40 pixels, 40 pixels east and 40 pixels south. Now let's call it 40 pixels right and 90 pixels south. This means 40 pixels east and 90 pixels south. Comma, and this is our second position. So we can define it anywhere in this map, but let's for 50 pixels right and 150 pixels down. That will draw a point. Now that you've clarified a point, now they can easily draw the line. But unlike other drawing graphics in this game, in the Pygame, you need to clarify the thickness, because without it, you'll be seeing there won't be any changes. So you have to clarify how thick is this line you are going to call. So make sure it's any number above 1. So you can clearly see it. Yeah, why did you look at that? It collided with my green, but it doesn't matter. Up next, it's time to draw the polygon. Pygame.draw.polygon. Screen purple. Now this is going to be tough. Now you require at least 3 points. It's just points. 3 points. So you have to clarify 3 points at least 3 points in your Pygame in order to know where exactly do you want it. So this is gonna take a while, but you get the gist by now.
It's like drawing a line, just an extra work. Now that I've typed it in, again, I don't have to repeat. Let's run the module. Oops, I may have mistaken it something. Purple. Screen purple. Oh yeah, and don't forget to put each of these in one bracket. Each of these 3 coordinates in one bracket. Like this, that's what I meant by one bracket. And there we go, we've made ourselves a little polygon. I'll pass on to my colleague who will teach you about animating these shapes. But left, right, up, down. Maybe even add some gravity. I'm not so sure. I'll see you then.